2012 Margaret Brent Award recipient, Joan Hall. Growing up in rural Nebraska, Joan Hall no doubt learned her work ethic from the various relatives tending to farms and ranches, and her dedication to education from her parents, who were school teachers. By high school, she was working 5 jobs, graduated as valedictorian, and carried her drive into college at Nebraska Wesleyan University, earning a bachelor's degree in 1961. Accepted by all 5 of the law schools to which she applied, Joan became one of the 7 women in Yale's law school class of 1965. She has noted that it was the same number of women in Yale's law school class of 1924. Similarly, many firms told the school's placement office they didn't hire women, but Joan Hall was determined to speak to those who did. In 1965, Joan Hall became the 2nd woman hired as a lawyer by Jenner & Block. Despite the lack of other female attorneys at the firm, Joan never felt as though she was treated as second class, and during her first 5 years worked almost exclusively with name partner Samuel W. Block in corporate law and litigation. Throughout her legal career, Joan Hall achieved several firsts, including being Jenner & Block's first pregnant lawyer. In a time when maternity leave was largely unheard of, she took only 1 week off following the birth of each of her sons, and tells of stopping at her office along the way to the hospital to drop off some papers for the securities class action settlement she was working on. She was the first woman to serve on the firm's executive committee, the first female chair of the firm's hiring committee, and founder of what became the Women's Forum, which helped cultivate a positive community among the women at Jenner & Block. Continuing to prove that her leadership crossed gender boundaries, Joan was elected as the first female chair of the American Bar Association's section of litigation in 1982, a time when very few women served in ABA leadership positions. In that same year, she was the first woman attorney in Illinois, and only the 3rd ever to be inducted into the American College of Trial Lawyers. The plaque that Joan received read, "He possesses the necessary experience, skill, and integrity to qualify for this fellowship." Undaunted, she pointed out the presumption of the gender and later was awarded a corrected plaque, which hangs proudly next to the original in her office. Coincidentally, Joan met her late husband, George Katsourelis, when he invited her to lunch to discuss getting more women into the American college. They were married 4 months later. Even though she retired from Jenner & Block in 1999, Joan continues her leadership through her ongoing civic responsibilities. She is a past chair of the Yale Law School Fund and a member of the Board of Trustees of Fourth Presbyterian Church of Chicago, and serves on the executive committee of the Board of Trustees at Rush University Medical Center, where she is being honored with a 2012 Trustee Medal for nearly 30 years of distinguished service and sustained support. However, Joan Hall's lasting legacy to the advancement and empowerment of women can be seen in her vision in co-founding and leadership in sustaining the Young Women's Leadership Charter School of Chicago. In its 12th academic year, the only all-girls public school in Chicago has guaranteed economically disadvantaged girls a chance to succeed in the male-dominated worlds of math, science, technology, and engineering. Joan takes an active role as an individual mentor to the students and even served as an advisor to Oprah Winfrey's Leadership Academy, traveling to South Africa to attend their opening ceremonies. Travel continues to be one of her passions, and she has visited 55 countries. Joan Hall's impact has been profound. It's been said that she is a roll-up-your-sleeves worker for whom no job was too small. Her quiet competency, always prepared organization, and her Nebraska charm, toughened by a spin or two around the Chicago block, kept us coming back for more. For her extraordinary career and for her continuous efforts to nurture and support the advancement of women and women lawyers, the American Bar Association Commission on Women in the Profession is proud to present the 2012 Margaret Brent Women Lawyers of Achievement Award to Joan Hall.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm totally thrilled to be here. I'm tremendously grateful to the ABA Commission on Women in the Profession for this very important award. I want to thank the people who nominated me for this award, and I especially want to thank my law firm, Jenner & Block, that has given me incredibly strong support during my entire legal career, and I also want to thank them for being a fabulous place for women lawyers to practice. I want to thank my family who are here today, and those two sons, despite the fact that I only took 1 week off for each one, have turned out very well. So, thank you to Colin and Justin, my sons, to my daughter-in-law Amanda, and to my brother Jim and his wife Lori, who are here with me for this very important day. I feel very privileged to be part of this awesome group of awardees. When I graduated from law school in 1965, only 4% of the law school graduates that year were women. So we have made some progress, but there's much more to be done. But today I want to talk to you about an entirely different subject, a subject that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is the state of public education in the United States. I want to call your attention to a report that was issued recently by the Council on Foreign Relations. The report was issued by a task force chaired by Condoleezza Rice and Joel Klein. The task force was comprised of 30 individuals from business, education, and government. The report points out that education is inextricably linked to the strength of this country and to our leadership abroad. The world economy is increasingly competitive, and human capital is required for success on the world stage. Although the United States spends more on education than almost any other developed country, our students rank only in the middle in reading and near the bottom in math and science. The current state of education in our country creates challenges for our national security. The report points out that the State Department is having difficulty hiring foreign language speakers. A recent study reports that more than half of Americans aged 17 through 24 are not qualified to enter the military, either because they failed to graduate from high school or they graduated, but they lack the necessary math, science, and English skills that are required to pass the standardized tests required to enter the military. United States generals are warning that enlistees who do get into the service cannot read training manuals for complicated equipment. A report from the 18th Airborne Corps in Iraq found out that 250 intelligence personnel, of those 250, fewer than 5, quote, had the aptitude to put pieces together to form a conclusion. I find this report to be very sobering, and I trust that you will too. For the United States to maintain its role of diplomatic and military leadership, it needs highly qualified women and men to conduct its foreign affairs. Knowledge of the world and of foreign languages is absolutely essential. In addition, the report points out that too many schools are failing adequately to equip their students for the workforce, and that resources and expertise are not distributed equitably. That often hurts the students who are most at risk. Globalization and the technological sophistication of our economy both have the effect of widening already troubling socioeconomic disparities, rewarding those who acquire the necessary skills and brutally punishing those who do not. Clearly, much is at stake in the state of our public education, both from a national security standpoint and for our obligation to provide equal opportunities for all of our children. Now, I have a particular reason for discussing this alarming report with you, and that is I want to urge each one of you to get involved in public education wherever you live. There are so many opportunities to do that, and the need is so great. There is constant need for mentors and tutors. You could serve on a school board or volunteer in athletic programs or other after-school activities. Or, like me, you could start a charter school. My work with the Young Women's Leadership Charter School of Chicago has been one of the most rewarding things I have ever done. We are changing young women's lives, and that is tremendously rewarding. And if you do decide to start a charter school, I would be delighted to give you free advice. Thank you very much.
That was incredible, Brent. Thank you.